Very exciting this spring. The first week of March 6th to the 13th, the K-Wing Stadium is hosting the United States National Championships. Both the men's and the women's competitions will be held here, featuring the top 10 men's teams and the top 10 women's teams. They've had to go through a series of qualifying tournaments to earn the right to come here, and the winner of the men's and women's will go to the World Championships later this spring. This year's Olympic team, John Schuster, will be in Kalamazoo, and Pete Fenson's team, who won the bronze medal at the Olympics in 2006, will be in Kalamazoo as well. So it's very exciting for us. Curling is a very old game, apparently. Played outdoors in Scotland, I think, as far back as the 1600s. It became much more popular when they started to put the game indoors, and they could control the ice conditions and they could control the actual surfaces of the rocks better. It became much more of a game of finesse and skill as opposed to a game of strength when it used to be played out in the outdoors on the frozen ponds. Currently, Canada, Scotland, Sweden, Finland to a certain extent, and the USA would be the top 5 nations in the world as far as number of curlers, and certainly the most competitive curlers. Curling was accepted in the Olympics a few years ago, so there's now curling on each one of the continents, and I think in over 100 countries of the world. Well, the basics of curling, there's 2 teams play each other, 4 people per team. Each team gets 8 rocks to slide down the ice. Everybody on the team throws 2 rocks. Each sheet or laneway of curling has a target at each end, and the point of the game is to slide your rocks closer to the center of the target at the other end than the opponent's. You get 1 point for every one of your rocks that's closer to the middle than your opponent's rocks. And a game is made up of either 8 or 10 of those ends or innings, like a baseball game. The team with the most points at the end of those 8 or 10 ends is the winner. I think, like most old Scottish games, curling has a lot of unique terminology to it. The starting blocks, or the places that you put your feet when you're going to start throwing, are called hacks. Just in front of the hacks are the targets. In curling, those are called the house. And a house is 12 feet across, and it's made up of 3 separate rings, named the 4-foot, the 8-foot, and the 12-foot. The middle of the rings, the dot in the center, is called the button. It's not like an archery target where the middle is worth more points than the other rings, so it's not worth 10, 9, 8, 7, 6. In curling, any rock that's in the rings is worth 1 point if it's closer to the middle than any of your opposition rocks. So if you have 2 rocks in the rings that are closer than the closest opposition, you get 2 points that end. Curling is a fairly simple game as far as equipment. Every player has a broom used initially for balance when you're a beginner, but to sweep rocks, you can make a rock slide further by sweeping the ice surface in front of the rock, and you create an actual film of water that reduces the surface tension, makes the rock go farther. Other than that, a pair of shoes, you want one shoe to be able to grip the ice and the other shoe to be slippery. So actual curling shoes, one shoe is soft and spongy, the other one has a piece of slippery Teflon on it. For beginners, we put a piece of tape on one shoe to make it slippery, but it's important that one shoe is more slippery than the other. Other than that, warm clothes. One of the intricacies of the game is the stones are 44 pounds of granite, but the bottom surface of the stone has a running surface about 4 inches in circumference, in diameter, that rides along on the ice. And one of the things that makes curling as strategic as it is because of this running surface contacting the ice, the direction you turn the rock, either clockwise or counterclockwise, makes the rock curl one direction or the other.
Started at 2, bring it to noon, let it go, there you go.
Kind of separates the game from shuffleboard because of that. Because once you can make a rock curl, the predictability of that curl you can now use in your strategy to hide your rocks behind other rocks, or to bump rocks into the target that weren't in the target previously. So it's the ability to put that turn on consistently, plan for it, and then be able to throw the rocks appropriately is what really separates it. I say it's a game that's similar to golf. You go to a driving range in golf, in 15 minutes, you're hitting the golf ball. And 15 years later, you're still wondering why you're not very good at it. Curling brings a lot of that same touch and frustration with it. But the best part about it is, in 15 minutes, you're curling. There are three general shots that you'll be asked to throw in curling. There's a guard, a draw, and a takeout. There are many variations once you play the game a long time, but in general, a guard is you're being asked to throw a rock in front of the target to guard or to block the opposition from taking out one of yours that's in the target. A draw is when you're being asked to throw one in the target. So the distance that you throw it, you want to stop it in the house or in the rings. And a takeout is if the opposition already has a rock in the house and you want to remove it. So you throw it harder and try to bump into theirs and knock it out. March of 2008, the Kalamazoo Curling Club officially began with a grand opening weekend. I can't believe the success that the club has had in the year and a half. With tonight's group of about approximately 75 new curlers that came, we believe our number is now over 600 that we've shown how to curl in the last year and a half, proving that Kalamazoo is the kind of town that's just unusual enough to embrace a game like this. We have about 50 curlers, 50 to 60 curlers that are avid curl in a league. We run 2 leagues a year. KalamazooCurlingClub.com is certainly where we would like you to go for information, and we'd like to grow the sport. The Wing Stadium has been very supportive of us. It's been a great partnership, and we look forward to many more years with them. United States Curling Association 2 years ago has tried to grow the national championships, and for the first time ever last year they moved them into a full-size arena out of a curling rink. Prior to that, they've held them in a curling rink with limited seating and really limited ability to put on a show, if you will. It was really just a curling tournament. Last year in Denver, they had the Olympic trials in an arena with 5,000 seats, and they've honored Kalamazoo by selecting us to host that again. Because Wing Stadium is used to running events, running monster trucks and Harlem Globetrotters and hockey, they're very, very good at promotion and very good at running a variety of exciting events. The curling planned for the week of March 6th to 13th, we're hoping is much more than a curling event. Their idea today is there'll be a learn to curl every night. That'll be included in your ticket price, a chance for you to come and watch curling, then step a few hundred feet away to the annex, possibly stop and get a beverage on the way and come out and curl. There's going to be Wii curling set up so that you can try video curling if you're not interested in coming down on the ice. We've got Education Day set up on Tuesday with several hundred school kids coming in to watch during the day. We've got some of the curlers who are going to go out to the schools and do a demonstration, and we're hoping to get some of the prior Olympic medal winners to do autograph signings during the week. There's a lot of work going on right now as far as planning, but the idea is that you come and watch curling and get an appreciation for the game, but there'll be much more to do than just that.